Hey guys, and welcome back to KPReacts, your home of internet reactions, and today we are reacting to 10 rappers or rappers that went wrong. Like, rappers are crazy people, they do some stupid stuff, and you know, to be successful rappers, there's probably something that isn't right here. So let's jump into this video and let's see what crazy stuff they've been up to.
Number 10, Eminem.
Slim Shady.
Before he became the best-selling rapper in history,
He had a very strange
Marshall
past.
Mathers by his real name, had his own run-ins with the law. He was already on the road to superstardom following the release of his album, the Slim Shady LP, in 1999. Then on June the 3rd, 2000, the Detroit rapper was arrested after a confrontation with Douglas Dale, in which he pulled out an unloaded gun. He was arrested again the next day for assaulting John Guerrera in a Hard Rock Cafe parking lot after he saw him kissing his wife, Kim.
Jeez. Oh my god. He's
Eminem pled guilty to assault and possession
that
of a
probably
concealed
spawned
weapon
so many
and
songs.
received 2 years probation. Number 9, Cardi B.
Cardi B.
Belcalis Malenis Almanzar, better known as...
What a name. What a name. Hold up. Let's get him out. Belcalis Marlienis Almanzar. Jesus, what a name. I did not know that was her name.
Cardi B became so successful in recent years that she's earned 2 Guinness World Records.
Okay.
Both of them were for simultaneous US chart entries by a female artist. Despite her mainstream music accolades, Cardi B has also had some legal problems. In the fall of 2018, she was charged with 2 misdemeanors, assault and reckless endangerment. She allegedly ordered an attack on 2 female bartenders at a strip club in Queens, New York City. She believed that one of them had slept.
Why do they get involved with this stuff? Like, sometimes they're so clever in some ways, they're so stupid at the same time as well.
With her husband,
these rappers.
rapper Offset. She was eventually released by the judge and ordered not to have any contact with the bartenders, known as Jade and Baddie G. Number 8,
G.
50 Cent.
What a name.
Curtis
The man that
Jackson,
got shot 9
aka
times.
50 Cent, gained notoriety after surviving a shooting. In 2000, a gunman shot him 9 times at close range outside his grandmother's former home in South Jamaica, Queens, New York. 50 Cent miraculously survived after bullets hit him in the legs, hip, hand, arm, chest, and left cheek.
Jesus.
The shooting could have ended his life, but instead it only fueled his reputation and became used as a significant marketing tool.
Bro, he looks mad dead, like picture. Like, he looks so different in these power days. He's very, very different to the old school 50 Cent.
Rapper Eminem heard one of 50 Cent's mixtapes. He flew into Los Angeles to meet hip-hop producer Dr. Dre. They produced 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying album, a major success, debuting at #1 in the US. 50 Cent's success as a rapper and entrepreneur was also marked by several troubles with the law. In 1994, he was arrested after selling 4 vials of cocaine to an undercover police officer, for which he served 6 months in boot camp. In 2002, he was charged with 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon. In May 2004, 50 Cent jumped into an audience after he was hit by a water bottle. Because of that incident, in 2005, he was sentenced to 2 years probation for assault and battery. Number 7,
He had it with the crowd.
Rapper Earl Simmons, aka DMX, was known for his signature gruff style.
Rest in peace, DMX.
And a series of hard-hitting hip-hop anthems in the late 90s and early 2000s. He also has one of the longest rap sheets on our list, with charges that include animal cruelty, resisting arrest, reckless driving, failing to pay child support, weapons charges, drug possession, and...
He definitely got on the wrong side of the law, let's say that DMX, but some of his tunes just like so iconic.
Identity
so iconic.
falsification. However, his latest brush with the law isn't what you'd expect from an aggressive rapper. Arrested in the past for staging dogfights and impersonating a federal agent. In 2017, DMX was charged with 14 federal counts of tax fraud. In March of 2018, he was sentenced to 1 year in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. Number 6.
Crazy.
Tupac.
Tupac Shakur.
One of the most iconic rappers in the history of the genre, Tupac Shakur was no stranger to controversy. He was arrested in 1993 on charges of weapons possession.
Bro, he looks so different there. He looks so different to all the images you see of him.
First-degree sexual abuse and sodomy. A 19-year-old woman alleged that Tupac and members of his entourage raped her in a room of the Parker Meridian Hotel in Manhattan. He was eventually acquitted of the weapons and sodomy charges, but he was convicted of sexual abuse. On November 30th, 1995, the day before the verdict of his trial was to be announced, Tupac was shot 5 times in the lobby of the Quad recording studios in Manhattan. He survived the shooting and, against his doctor's orders, checked himself out of hospital only 3 hours after his surgery.
What?
He showed up for court in a wheelchair and was found guilty on 3 counts of molestation.
I did not know that story. That's mad.
He spent 8
That's
months
crazy.
in prison. Number 5. Old Dirty Bastard. Russell Tyrone Jones, also known as Old Dirty Bastard or ODB, was the most eccentric member of the Wu-Tang Clan and had a rap sheet
he just
to
looks
match
mad.
his wild and outrageous persona. In 1993, he was convicted of attempted robbery and second-degree assault. He was shot in the abdomen in 1994 after a violent dispute. ODB was shot again in the back and arm in 1998 when he was victim of a home invasion at his girlfriend's house. That same year, he was arrested once more for shoplifting a $50 pair of shoes, even though he had more than $500 in cash on him.
This is where like they get to like, it doesn't make it like, you know, I was saying like these guys are, I was saying earlier, they're like sensible business people on one hand with their music, but then like, what's going on there? Like, what kind of mental state was he in where he felt like he needed to rob someone? I think it's not about the shoes, is it? Obviously, you know, he must have done something or whatever.
He was before a judge once
doesn't
more
make any
for
sense
driving
really, does
without
it?
a license and wearing a bulletproof vest, which was illegal at the time. Only a few weeks later, he was arrested for traffic offenses and for drug possession, as marijuana and 20 vials of crack cocaine were found in his car. The court ruled that he had to spend time in a drug treatment facility. In October 2000, he escaped the facility and spent 1 month as a fugitive. He showed up to the release party of the Wu-Tang Clan's 3rd album called The W. ODB was still a fugitive when police arrested him outside a McDonald's in South Philadelphia.
No way.
As he was signing autographs. He had already racked up numerous charges by then.
I love the bravado. He's a fugitive. He's escaped essentially a former prison. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go to the event. I'm going to chill, meet the fans. I love it.
To 2 to 4 years in prison. It was ultimately determined that ODB's behavior had been a combination of drug addiction and mental health problems.
Sounds about
Number
right.
4. Gucci Mane.
Gucci.
Considered to be one of the pioneers of the trap music subgenre, Radrick Davis, also known as Gucci Mane, has been arrested and imprisoned multiple times. His lengthy rap sheet includes drugs, assault, traffic, and weapon charges. In May 2005, he was attacked by a group of men at a house in Decatur, Georgia. He and members of his entourage opened fire on their attackers, and the corpse of one of them, a man nicknamed Pookie Loke, was later found behind a middle school. Gucci Mane was charged with murder, but the case was eventually dropped due to insufficient evidence.
Damn.
Gucci Mane's criminal past is so extensive that by the time the murder charge was dropped, he was already in jail for aggravated assault on a separate charge. Number 3. Cool C.
These guys are mad. Who's Cool C?
Rapper Christopher Douglas Rooney, better known by his stage name Cool C, was sentenced to death in 1996 for an attempted bank robbery and the murder of a police officer. Cool C gained some attention in the mid-80s and in 1996 was in the process of recording a comeback EP. In January of that year, the Philadelphia-based rapper and 2 accomplices attempted a heist at a bank in Feltonville. The silent alarm was triggered and Philadelphia police officer Laretha Veard was one of the first responders. She was shot and killed by Cool C. He and his accomplices exchanged fire with another officer before fleeing in a stolen minivan. In October, Cool C was arrested and convicted of first-degree murder. As of the making of this video,
yeah, there's no way if you shoot a police officer,
he's still on death row.
KO is KO.
Number 2, Big Lurch.
Who are these rappers?
American rapper Big Lurch committed arguably the most gruesome crime on this list. In April 2002, he murdered his 25-year-old roommate, Tynesha Ice, and then ate parts of her. Ice was found with her chest ripped open and a 3-inch knife in her shoulder blade. Her lungs had been torn out.
Oh my God.
Teeth marks were found across them and on her face when the police arrested Big Lurch.
That is horrible.
He was found in the middle of the street, naked, covered in blood and with his eyes staring blankly at the sky. The doctors examined him and found human flesh in his stomach that wasn't his own. The rapper and the victim had allegedly taken PCP earlier that day. Big Lurch's defense argued that he was in a psychotic state because of the drugs. The rapper was eventually sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
That's dumb.
Number 1, 6ix9ine.
Freaking cannibal. 6ix9ine. I should have guessed this was going to be the case.
6ix9ine has had a long history of legal battles. A controversial figure, the tattooed, rainbow-haired rapper is notorious for his aggressive songs with violent lyrics, which are usually focused on drugs, sex, and gang violence. As a minor before achieving mainstream fame, the rapper served time for assault and the sale of heroin. In 2015, he was sentenced to 4 years probation and 1,000 hours of community service after pleading guilty to a child sex charge. 6ix9ine and an associate filmed themselves during a sexual performance with a 13-year-old girl, and then used the footage as part of a music video. In 2018, 6ix9ine, along with 8 alleged members and associates of the 9 Trey Gangsters, were brought to trial. 9 Trey Gangsters, a Blood Street Gang affiliate, was part of a 5-year joint investigation by the NYPD, ATF, and the DHS. The charges included weapons possession, drug distribution, racketeering, and conspiracy to commit murder. Considering his priors, 6ix9ine...
So this is the famous case that everyone knows about, right? Where 6ix9ine snitched to protect himself or whatever his story is.
Was facing a minimum of 47 years in prison. On February the 1st, 2019, he entered a plea deal with law enforcement that involved admitting his guilt and testifying against his co-defendants. As long as he continues to cooperate with law enforcement and doesn't commit further crimes, the rapper will manage to avoid prison time. However, many say that by cooperating with his prosecutors, 6ix9ine had essentially become a marked man. Thanks for watching.
He is someone that, you know, if, like, for whatever reason, touch wood, this obviously doesn't happen, but if he turns up dead, even with all of his security and stuff, you would not be surprised. But he did a really good interview with Logan Paul on the Impulsive podcast when I think like soon after he got released. So definitely go check it out because he talks a lot about the case and why he did what he did. It was very insightful. So definitely go check it out. But thank you all for watching this episode, and make sure to like if you enjoyed this one and subscribe if you're new as well. But thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.